Last week, I mentioned something called the Unwritten Rules of Rochester Chamber Toastmasters, and I hope by mentioning them this morning, there will not be any defenestration after I am through talking about them. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and no distinguished guests, but we're glad to have you virtually, and we're glad to have you in the room. The question is, why are they unwritten? Because for the most part, this club is so exceptional, you already do most of them. And it is one of the many reasons why this group knows how to create a great group club experience, if you will. I want to thank Craig for his suggestions for this presentation. By the way, I want to acknowledge him as we get started here because I've incorporated some of them into this presentation. Maybe the most important rule is always attend meetings. That's right, always attend meetings if you can. Unless, of course, you're ill or possibly out of town or you have a serious commitment. Or, and Hannah, I'm talking to you, if you're like Hannah and a trip in from the Chatfield metro area is impossible on a bad weather day, then we might give you a pass. You see this right here? This is a wonderful thing. This is our secret weapon. We have a schedule in this club and it goes out a whole month. It's amazing. It is the envy of clubs everywhere. Use it. Use it to your advantage. Toastmasters of the day, figure out how you can get this thing printed if possible. I know since we moved from the chamber over here, it's been a very difficult thing. Print copies of it, bring them to the meeting. Craig and Rick have been great about doing this for us. Speakers and job holders, this is more important though. This is your warning. There's an assignment ahead and it's got your name on it. Either get yourself off the schedule or find a replacement if you can't do that job. Don't avoid showing up because you were unprepared. You have been given fair notice. It is right here. Responsibility is key to how well this club works, and there is a wonderful spirit here to ensure that the show must go on, and you all do such a wonderful job for the most part. Wave the white flag early. What do I mean by that? Notice how if you let people know via email, somebody usually steps up to trade or just take the job that you can't fulfill. It's magic, isn't it? Yeah, really. This is a wonderful thing. This is a wonderful spirit. Keep it going, please. Remember, you are responsible to find a replacement. Please don't cancel on short notice or just decide not to show up. You have a commitment to each other. By the way, I'm going to be gone on September 9th, and I'm going to need somebody to fill my speaking slot or trade with me. Just parenthetically, if somebody would like to see me after the meeting, I, of course, will be waving the white flag about this too. Work ahead. Hannah, I'm looking at you once again, and I'm going to make an example out of you. You should be working on your next speech or have a pocket speech ready, just like Hannah, whether it's about ice cream or about cows or something like that. Have something ready, just in case you're called upon. If somebody bows out, advantage you. Take it, grab it. It's your speaking time. Why am I holding up this clock? It's all about timing, baby. That's right. Don't sink the meeting when it comes to time. Timing, stick to your time. 2 to 3 minutes for an evaluation. 2 to 3 minutes when it comes to the humor segment. I know we've been known to push it just a little bit, myself personally as well, but try to stick to your time if you possibly can. Now, most speeches are supposed to time to 5 to 7 minutes. If you will be exceeding 10 minutes, as I'm sure this speech will, with all my ad libs, be sure to give the Toastmaster a heads up ASAP if you possibly can. As most of you know, runaway presentations are hard to plan for on the fly. Matter of fact, you're going to pretty much do this if you're the Toastmaster. The Toastmaster may very well plan other adjustments if they actually know in advance. So please be kind. And once again, just a quickie on how to time a meeting. Your speaker should be wrapping up, about this part of the clock, about 35 minutes after the hour. This allows for at least 3 comfortable table topics, possibly more, depending on how quickly the questions are asked and how quickly they're answered, but at least 3. If table topics is pushing past the 40 to 45 minute mark, You're going heavy, baby, and you're probably running late. A few time-saving options if you'd like to talk strategy with me. Limit table topics or just eliminate table topics, which kind of stinks. Have evals limited to just 2 minutes. Those with other jobs, keep your report short, TBR. What do I mean by that? Tight, bright, and real. Just keep it short, baby. This is especially true of the timer. Just thank everybody for staying on time, if in fact that's what they did, and sit down. You've saved a lot of time there toward the end of the meeting. Now, we're all communicators, and it should start before the meeting. Got a job in the meeting? Great. Going to cut your arrival close, be late, or not even show up? Probably not such a good thing. Call somebody in the club right away, email them. Don't leave the Toastmaster in the lurch. Not a good idea. What do I have here? I have some scriptage, and this is a very important thing. Speakers provide times and intros as soon as possible. We've decided that this may be a 10-minute, it may be a longer speech, but we've at least given our friends a ballpark here. If you can't email your intro the night before, and even if you can, bring an extra copy with you just in case. It never hurts. Introduction. Speakers, the intro is a must because your Toastmaster is not a mind reader. They are probably not off the top of their heads going to come up with a fantastic intro that just brings you right into that speech and brings the energy. No, have the intro because it adds context, sets the tone, the mood. And if you watch the Olympics, you've noticed that a good baton handoff is a good thing, especially when you're doing a marathon like this. Got special instructions or needs possibly before you get started here? Let your Toastmaster know ahead of time. That would be a good idea. You have a PowerPoint, you're not sure just about how to run it or anything like that? Talk to Craig about it. Craig will make sure that it happens. Got business to mention, something important toward the end of the meeting? Well, you might have a conversation with the Toastmaster ahead of the meeting and let them know that they need to budget time for you. And now an important topic, speech content. Really? You're going to talk to me about speech content and what I'm going to put into speech? Yeah, take risks. But you know something? I don't have to tell you this. This club is great at taking risks and mixing it up. As Craig puts it, and I'm going to quote him, I assume about half the audience will disagree with me on any topic, and I craft my message accordingly, or I don't deliver it. And he continues, I maintain professional respect for fellow Toastmasters despite occasionally disagreeing with their topic or comments. These are probably some pretty good words to live by right here. Now, when it comes to evaluations, we have some very good evaluators in this club. Please acknowledge courage. Some folks up here are taking some pretty big risks, and there are some very brave people in this club based on some of the content that is shared here. Be kind with your evaluations. Got a really tough issue to discuss? Do it individually with the speaker after the meeting if you possibly can. Don't embarrass folks if you possibly can as well. Table topics, yes. While it is tempting to call on Rick just about every week here because we love to hear from him, and that guy from Cycle City is really funny, if at all possible, call on new members, especially those who do not already have a role in the meeting. Get everybody involved. I mean, didn't we decide to come here to talk and to potentially have just a moment or two up here at the microphone? And by the way, if you don't like the topics question, no worries, okay? No worries. We only ask that you make sense for at least a minute as you're up here. So if you would like to talk about dinner last night or something you did with your dog, please go ahead. You don't have to do that crazy topic. And by the way, apologies to Farhad last week. Farhad, he thought I was asking about clowns, not clones. That's my understanding. And no wonder you were so confused. By the way, Farhad, we don't think you're a clown, all right? All right, great. And remember, it is everybody's job. It is everybody's job to be an informal mentor to make members feel valued, to greet guests and help them feel welcome to this club, to recruit guests and to help grow this club. Yes, grow it. And if you have time to, at the end of the meeting, invite guests to speak. It's a great way to make them feel a part of what we're doing here. Some key definitions in honor of club alum Erica Polanski, if you remember her, and I'm going to offer you two. This, what I'm in front of here, is a lectern. If we were stepping up on a platform and I were putting my notes down and I had something to hold it and it was a little more permanent, it would be, anybody? Thank you. Lectern, podium, lectern. Thank you. I know Erica would love that. In normal times, you are the guardian of the lectern. In non-gerbophone times, by the way, and non-elbow bumping times, this is your real estate. Own it. Don't speak and wander off. Hand it off properly to the next speaker. We ask you to do that. Finally, one more word about speech content. Keep it clean. This is not an edition of Toastmasters Blue. If you want to know more about that crazy club down in Arizona, talk to Jeff Burns. He will be happy to tell you more about it. So bottom line, no cussing, no off-color fussing or other racy content. And believe it or not, there are no hard and fast rules in Toastmasters against bringing up the issue of politics, religion, or sex. There are no hard rules. But as Jeff would say, Toastmasters is kind of like church. Think of it that way. And if you can, I would add, what would you plan to say? And could it potentially offend your mother? Maybe that is a good rule as you think about the content that we share up here. So consider your audience carefully. Bottom line, the unwritten rules of Chamber Toastmasters can be summed up in about 4 bullet points. Attend meetings, even if you're not on the agenda and you don't have a job. Fulfill your roles or find a replacement. It's that simple. Help your Toastmaster by being alert to how the meeting is timing out and edit yourself accordingly. And be sure to have fun, of course, yeah. And let's keep one of the best hours of the week going strong. Mr. Toastmaster.